All right, Drake Riggs here for MMAnia.com with Julia Budd, the former Bellator champ, one of the greatest featherweights of all time. You know her. Julia, last time we talked, you were settling into the new gym, kind of moving around a little bit towards New Year's. Just how are things back home, settled in now, I imagine?
Yeah, absolutely. All of our gym, we've changed locations, and so it's all settled in, and I had an amazing camp. So
awesome, happy to hear it. I mean, was it kind of tough adjusting at first with it's always a big thing when you move from anywhere, right?
Yeah. No, it was. We kind of planned it out, knowing when the season would roughly start. So having it kind of all out of our way before having to come here.
Yeah, it's going to be a little stressful. So got that out of the way. Yeah. And as you mentioned earlier, Lance Gibson Jr., of course, just had another great win. Very dominant, multiple 10-8s in that one. I mean, just looking back on how proud are you of him continuing on this run that he's doing?
So proud. Yeah, that's the word that basically, that I feel he was amazing in there, and he was able to, showcase a whole other aspect of his game that we're really proud of. So,
and do you think it's kind of good sometimes for when, fighters earlier in their careers get to go for a full 3 rounds? We've seen him get many finishes before in his career, but this was a very dominant one, but getting kind of the time in, essentially.
Yeah, absolutely. He's hard on, he's like a perfectionist. So he's so hard on himself, and he obviously wanted the finish right away. And so, he was, at first, he was a little bit hard on himself. And then when we watched it together, we're like, oh my God, that was devastating. It was amazing ground and pound, and just his positioning on the ground and everything. So we're happy that he's getting this time in the cage, and showing what he can do.
Yes, guys, very talented. So also that night, though, there was the featherweight title fight, which you're familiar with. Both ladies fought both of them, Arlene Blenko and Chris Cyborg. They won the distance this time as well. I'm sure you saw the fight. I mean, what'd you make of that one?
It was awesome. You know what? It's so much respect to both those women. And it was great.
Were you surprised that Arlene she obviously did better than the first fight, but she's very tough and all that. But were you surprised to see it go differently?
You know what? She's really tough, and I think I think she prepared really well for it this time. So no, it didn't really surprise me, but it was nice to see. It was good to see, and it was a great fight.
Where do you rank her among the hardest hitters you fought? Because I've heard that she hits impossibly hard. Like Marloes Kunin said, she probably hits harder than Cyborg. I mean, people say Arlene Blenko is Anger Fist for a reason.
Yeah, she does. She hits hard. I'd rank her. I'd say, Cyborg, obviously. She's up there for sure.
Of course. But as for you, Julia, obviously you had that last win against Caitlin Young. I know we've talked about it a little bit, but kind of looking back on that performance, very overall good stuff from you. Is that kind of a game plan? You want to carry over into this fight, against Jenna, which similar-ish to Caitlin. I know striking is probably what you'd say is both of their strengths. So, when you kind of compare the two, obviously different game plans for different opponents, but is it similar a little bit for this one?
I don't, you know what, you gotta kind of, I got a game plan, obviously, but I want the points too. So that one, the distance, it was nice to get in there and have 15 minutes in the PFL cage and feel it out and get really comfortable in there. But I want to go out there and make a statement. Jenna's, I know that I've seen she's doing a lot of wrestling, jiu-jitsu, preparing on all aspects, so I don't expect it to just be a striking match. But I'm ready for anything. So,
and she's kind of a lengthier opponent. I don't know how many fighters you fought that are taller than you, but and obviously arm reach and whatnot. But is that something you kind of think about a lot, or is I've had so much experience, I can get past it with whatever you want?
No, you know what? It was actually something that we really prepared for. But Lance Gibson Jr. is a southpaw, longer, long reach, same reach as Jenna. So he's my number one sparring partner. Plus, I got just a good group, amazing group of guys in the gym that are lanky, long, good strikers. And but I fought Jermaine Randomie, Charmaine Tweet, Molly Estes. A lot of the girls that I've been up against are 6'1", 6 feet tall.
Nothing
so
new.
It's not new, but it's definitely something that in camp we're preparing for, especially on the ground too, with the grappling, the long limbs and everything. So
makes sense totally. And obviously, don't want to really ask you specifically about Kayla Harrison because everyone's going to do it, but she's got to fight, obviously, the main event with Marina Magnatkina, fellow former Bellator alum. She was on the roster alongside you for a little bit there. I don't know how much you followed her specifically, but what do you think her chances are in this main event to pull off a potential upset?
Well, I think that Kayla, with just her background in judo, and that being her her main strength. Now, in bringing that into the MMA game, it's hard for people to get past, and also I think experience in the cage, like her experience might play off as a definite advantage as well against Marina. But I mean, I'd love to see I'd love to see it.
We all would, right?
I'd love to see her bring it to her, but I think Kayla's gonna pull it off.
I mean,
sure.
you want that not to, right? To be that person.
Yeah, exactly. So, yes.
And we've mentioned all the great opponents you fought. I mean, some of them right now here, Julia. So I'm curious, for you, out of everyone that you have fought, who would you say has been the toughest? Is it an obvious Cyborg, or one of the earlier ones? Who would you say stands out there?
I'd say Cyborg for sure, but toughest fight for me, yeah, I'd say Cyborg. Yeah, it's pretty obvious that one was my toughest one, and losing the belt too. So that was like, it was tough, like mentally afterwards. I had to go through. I had to kind of go through the trenches after the fight, and it helped me really, decide that I'm hungry. I'm coming for it, and PFL is definitely where I want to be. And just I'm excited about a new beginning here.
So what are you going to do for the first thing when you get $1 million?
Yeah. Oh God, I don't even know. I can't look at it like that.
Right,
I know. It's Friday night. That's what I'm looking at, and making sure that I go out there and I leave no stones unturned, and just basically go out there and show the world who I am, and remind them who I am. So.
Absolutely. The champ, one of the best ever. So last thing I will leave you with here, Julie, I want to leave you with a fun one, a little bit of a game, all right? So a 3-parter, 3 options. You get to knock out someone, submit someone, and have a beer with someone.
Oh.
So you get to pick each out of Cyborg, Kayla, and Rhonda. Who gets what?
Okay. Knockout. I'd like to submit Rhonda. Okay. Have a beer with Cyborg and knock out Kayla.
All right, wonderful. All right, Julie, I can't wait to see you back. So great to see you in the tournament, and always great getting to catch up. Thank you so much.
Thank you.